Önce Edip Bey'den başlayalım.
Peace, salam, shalom, ashiti. I will speak. Okay, then I have to repeat again. Peace, salam, shalom, ashiti. I will speak in English, but I will publish the English version and also the Turkish translation, which I haven't made yet, on my website 19.org, which has been censored for many years in Turkey, but it is accessible here, thank God, and in other countries. Bunun Türkçesini çevirmedim maalesef ama inşallah 19.org sitesine çevirip asacağım. Çevirmen zorda kalacak çünkü biraz karmaşık olacak. Onun için başlayın, yani belki çoğunu kaçıracaksınız. The Turkish Constitution has been the only constitution that contained an article banning a language when I studied the world constitutions. And it stood out as the only constitution having an article talking about banning language under the subtitle Freedom of Expression. And they did not even mention Kurdish there because they did not want to acknowledge it, give the honor to put there. But they referred to the Turkish criminal code, which singled out Kurdish. You could learn English, Arabic, talk Persian, any languages come to your mind, but not Kurdish, the language of 20% of Turkish population. Some resisted to this cultural genocide, and some yielded and were assimilated. I belong to the second group. Unfortunately, among the 5 languages that I know, Kurdish is the poorest of all, thanks to my Turkish brothers. I lost my brother, Edip Yuksel, to the cowardly bullets of the Turkish nationalists. Therefore, I was imprisoned for 4 years and 1 year daily torture. That time they put me in the same ward with the murderers of my brother. And one of them, now, one of the murderers who is in daylight in front of Fatih Mosque that killed my brother in front of his friends, dozens of friends. There is no doubt he was one of the murderers that point blank killed my brother. He is now in Turkish National Congress, and I am in exile. When I go back to Turkey, they arrest me, they harass me. 3 times I have been detained. For what? Nothing. Forget about killing someone. I did not even slap a Turkish person. I teach a lecture without reading from papers. I know it is boring, but knowing that I tend to get diversions and go into details, and knowing that I have very limited time, and I hope you will be able to follow me. I would like to read from these papers. I know the translator will have hard time. I'm not going to talk just about massacres happened some years ago. I'm not a good storyteller, and I think there is another way besides discussing details of past atrocities followed by finger pointing, since we are all criminals. We all contribute to the unfair, myopic, diabolic ecosystem that is doomed to generate these sorts of tragedies and even more. As long as we do not focus on the main causes, yes, plural, all conflicts, fights, and atrocities that is committed by our ancestors, we will never be able to break the cycle. Remember, we are the children of Cain, the children of the killers who survived, the children of winners, the bullies. But I believe that we are in threshold point in history in which we cannot go beyond without destroying everyone, including ourselves. We need to give support to the peacemaker's gene of Abe and try our best to suppress the barbaric genetic code we have inherited from a portion of our bloody ancestors. It is time to use a software, the 19 rules inference embedded in our brain, which I teach in my logic classes. We all operate with those system 19 rules inference, but we betrayed from childhood, through dogmas and ideologies. We distort this logic and reason that allow us to communicate and cooperate. Remember, we have to look at ourselves before pointing at the others. I'm not talking as a Kurd or a Turk or an American or a lawyer here. I have decided to talk like my hero, Socrates. I know that I am far being in a caliber of that great man, and also I know that the European Parliament is much better than the 501 jury members of Athenian Senate. Of course, I'm not on trial, but I want to put myself as a member of humanity on a short trial here. Thus, let me have a sip of water with your permission. I was very moved by the documentary we watched about the Dersim massacre. And first time, unfortunately, I heard the words of Said Khan that it will be trouble for you. I know, thank God that I didn't kneel in front of you. It is a powerful word statement of someone who has been oppressed. I will have a bad news first, which I will harp on it, not to annoy you, my brothers and sisters, and those who will be watching this, but to tickle your brain, your heart, and your consciousness. But I promise that it will follow with a few good news, very good ones, which might create a butterfly effect for a new era, hopefully, in global politics, starting from you, from me, from this room. Declaration of Human Rights, United Nations resolutions. I have here the Covenant on Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, which has 19 articles. Laws, I will not read to you these laws. Laws. Who cares about the laws? Kim takar yasaları? Not even those who drafted, dictated, and passed the laws care about them. Laws? Who cares about laws? Most countries are ruled by the children of Thrasymachus. Have you heard Thrasymachus? Who said, might makes it right. If we are exceptional Americans or chosen ones in the middle of trouble of our own creation, why we should care about the laws? Neither the International Criminal Court can reach our exceptional people, nor the United Nations resolutions stop our crimes. What happened to the war criminals of our decade, or decade and decade, such as Bush and his cabal, Cheney, Wolfowitz, Perley, Bolton, and Faith? They are in their mansions. Who cares about the laws? Perhaps the only poor, the weak, has to follow the laws. No wonder our justice system is designed to absolve and respect the biggest thieves while punishes mercilessly the hungry, who steals bread to feed himself and his children. We humans, including me, we are hypocrites. I will not be cynical, don't worry. I think we have very good possibility to change this. We suffer from cognitive dissonance. Unless we accept the truth, we will not be free from hypocrisy and tragedies. What goes around comes around, and the entire humanity suffers, as in the case of global warming, gang terrorism, state terrorism, which is much bigger, that causes the gang terrorism, wars, etc. And what is going around is coming around much faster and much with vengeance. Let me confess my sin as a human being. I am confessing our sins, not to ask forgiveness from those few bullies who arrogate themselves to be the world's leaders, or the representatives of God in Vatican or in Tehran or in Saudi Arabia. No, I will not. I will confess to unite us, to remind us our aggression and hypocrisy, and also our common bond as humans, our common destiny as travelers on this crowded and troubled spaceship we called planet Earth. A massacre, a war, or human rights violation is not an isolated incident. 2 minutes, not enough. They are part of much bigger system, ideology, and lifestyle that we choose. It is connected to how we treat women, how we treat the poor and working people, how we treat the animals, how we treat the earth, how we value family and humanity. A massacre, a war, or a human rights violation is a symptom of our way of life, our system, our paradigm. We are oppressors, ignorant, and self-righteous. We expect Bulgaria and Germany to give Turkish minority cultural rights, while we first deny the existence, then we ban the language and including the holiday minority, and then we subject assassinations and massacres. We are oppressors, ignorant, and self-righteous. We blame Kurdish minority of treason for demanding and fighting for their lives, human rights, and dignity, while we go declare war to divide Cyprus for what? For supposedly crimes against Turks, which are not even a fraction of crimes we commit against Kurdish minority in Turkey. We take it lightly of being the only country that has banned the language of a minority comprising about 20% of its population. Ironically, we claim to be Muslims, while Islam condemns racism and considers every language to be God's signs deserving respect and appreciation. We are oppressors, ignorant, and self-righteous. We expect Europeans to cherish our mosques, to enjoy our minarets punching holes in their skies, and if they convert our old mosque into a church, we protest with loud noises, yet we are not ashamed of trying to convert Hagia Sophia into a mosque, as if we were in desperate need for another empty mosque. We are criminals in denial. We turned minorities against minorities, and in 1995 we let the Turks and Kurds commit genocide against Armenians, exterminating more than 1 million of them. Let me finish up here. I am going to finish up. I am not done. I will skip, but there is a part I want to share with you. We are now using drones to assassinate people without trial. Poor people who stand against our aggression and hegemony after killing 1 million in Iraq alone. The list of wars, covert operations, and countries bombed by the USA Inc. Incorporated, printed in 9 points, time Romans, single space, one line for each country is 5 times longer than my middle finger. With cognitive dissonance, every bloody list is possible. I would like after this one, if you give me a chance to finish up, what are the solutions I would like to share with you.
Edip Bey, çok teşekkür ediyoruz.